out for our viewers what this is all about. And we are talking about the National Herald property worth 64 crores being attached permanently by the Enforcement Directorate in Gurugram, where the Enforcement Directorate cracks down on the National Herald properties in Panchkula, Haryana as well. This is a permanent attachment. Our senior news editor, Shravan Sen, will actually decode this for us. What exactly is the permanent attachment that we are talking about, National Herald properties? One exactly we are talking from Gurugram, the other in Panchkula. Shravan.
Well, in fact, Amita, the details that we're essentially getting at this point in time is that National Herald properties, which is worth 64 crore, has already been attached by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, this is essentially a permanent attachment given the fact that at this point in time, the Enforcement Directorate has basically well equipped to carry on with attachments that would be permanent in nature. They've already sought the court permission, and thereafterwards we're given to understand that the Enforcement Directorate has managed to attach properties worth 64 crore. That would only mean that the properties that were basically with the Gandhis have been lost forever. Now, this is something that it's certainly been considered as a huge setback for the Congress party, given the fact that this is a move that has been made by the Enforcement Directorate, which would certainly be permanent in nature. The difference essentially being that these properties were basically under the scanner for a while right now, and there's very limited option, perhaps, that the Gandhis have at this point in time to challenge this in the court.
But Shravan, when it comes to losing crores in asset, especially when the court case going on over the AGL petition, when it comes to the evacuation of the building as well, that the Gandhi Parivar was holding on to long enough when there was actually no business happening in that very same building, how big is it a setback when it comes to losing crores of such kind of an amount of money for the Gandhis?
Yeah, it's a substantial amount of money that has been attached at this point in time. These are properties worth 64 crores. In fact, as far as the Enforcement Directorate is being concerned, they are essentially looking at how these properties were basically bought in the first place, and the money that has essentially been utilized, that in itself has been under the scanner for a while now. The Enforcement Directorate essentially believes that this money, which has basically been laundered and thereafterwards essentially used to buy properties, and the properties that we're essentially talking about are in Gurgaon, which have already been attached, which is worth 64 crores to begin with. And why I'm saying that this is a significant development, given the fact that this is a permanent attachment, which would only mean that there is very limited room that the Gandhis have at this point in time to challenge this before the court.
I want you to tell us about this case now, because when it comes to the court case as well, the ED also investigating this case and the particular building that we are talking about in Gurugram and Panchkula as well. Are there more properties involved too, Shravan? We will just quickly reconnect that line with Shravan, but coming as losing crores worth of these assets are almost up to 64 crores that have been attached permanently by the Enforcement Directorate, coming in as a huge setback to the Gandhi Parivar. We're looking at how exactly in the very same case you have Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi out on bail. Let me go back to Shravan on this. If you're talking about this permanent attachment of these properties in Gurugram and Panchkula, are there more properties involved too, Shravan?
Well, as far as the other properties are concerned, that has also been under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, it is with this entire investigation has been reopened by the Enforcement Directorate once again, because this was an investigation which was closed by the Enforcement Directorate in August 2015, and thereafterwards the Enforcement Directorate has once again decided to open this entire case, because earlier this case was closed citing some technical reasons. This was in the year 2015. Now we're given to understand once this entire case was reopened by the Enforcement Directorate, they have essentially got some details with regards to the money flow that came in, and thereafterwards the decision was essentially taken that the attachment is necessary at this stage, and there have been allegations that have been leveled against Gandhi with regards to misappropriation of assets that were worth 2,000 crores of the National Herald newspaper. And once the investigation was essentially being carried out by the enforcement directorate, they were looking at multiple properties that were essentially bought by the Gandhis. We are given to understand that these properties have been under the scan of the enforcement directorate for a while now.
How many properties in all, and the kind of setback that they have already received from the court when it comes to evacuation of the very prominent building in New Delhi as well, the National Herald building, Shravan, because where all does it kind of feels the tremors on other parts of the country, whereas the involvement of the Gandhi Parivar and the kind of setback, a monetary setback that they are getting from the investigative agencies.
Well, in fact, Amita, this is not the first time that we're looking at attachments that have been done by the Enforcement Directorate in the National Herald case. Now, earlier also, there was a plot of land in Panchkula that was allotted to the Associate Journals Limited by the Haryana government. That too was basically attached by the Enforcement Directorate. A provisional attachment order came in earlier after the CBI had actually filed a charge sheet against the former Haryana Chief Minister Bhupinder Singh Hooda, and the allegation that was leveled against him that he used fraudulent means to basically allot this land to AGL. We are given to understand that.
All right, stay on with us, Shravan. Stay on with us, Shravan. Dr. Subramanian Swamy is joining us on the phone line. Sir, I want your thoughts on the latest move that has been done by the Enforcement Directorate when it comes to the National Herald case. You two being following it up very closely. Property worth 64 crores being permanently attached. How big a setback do you see that for the Gandhis?
I'm not following it closely. I am the original complainant. And these things flow out of the orders I got, including Sonia and Rahul Gandhi going out on bail. The question was, my major complaint was that the properties have been grabbed and the money obtained has been through money laundering, even as a small amount of 50 crores that they paid to the Congress party in lieu of transferring the ownership for 5,000 crore property worth to their private company called Young Indian. They got the money from a Calcutta money laundering firm, and the ED had done a raid and established it. So now they're not only on my criminal, Indian Penal Code, they are being prosecuted, but they are now to be prosecuted under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. And since they have to be prosecuted under the Money Laundering Act, the property has to be attached for recovery of the money. So the building in Delhi, which is already being reassumed by the Urban Development Ministry because they violated the law, which said that that property can only be used for printing newspapers, and that stopped printing newspapers from that building on Bahadur Shah Zafar Marg in Delhi. And therefore, the Urban Development Ministry has also taken it over. And now the ED is attaching it so that it can auction it if it becomes necessary to recover the amount.
All right, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, thank you very much for your first reaction that we are putting up across for our viewers joining in at this point in time. A quick recap for our viewers, especially when it comes to the Panchkula properties. We've seen already how you have the former Haryana Chief Minister Bhupinder Singh Hooda, where the CBI had filed a charge sheet against him. And not only him, but it was former Congress leader Motilal Vora and the AGL2 in connection with the case, where we have a latest development taking place on part of the Enforcement Directorate, where the National Herald property worth 64 crores being permanently attached by the Enforcement Directorate, not only in Panchkula in Haryana, but also another property in Gurgaon, where the Enforcement Directorate has cracked down on the National Herald properties in Panchkula as well. And this is a permanent attachment that has taken place to recover, and how you have this as a big monetary setback to the Gandhi Parivar. But you also have the ED saying that how you have the plot that was fraudulently allotted to the Associate Journals, which had also proceeded which had also represented the proceeds of the crime, and you have the ED attaching the plot and the PMLA Act as well. Now, this is, remember, coming as a big setback also to the Gandhi Parivar, how the kind of monetary income that they were getting from these properties. Majid Memon can also tell us and his first point of view on this big development that has taken place. Majid Memon, how do you view this movement that has taken place, this action that has taken place by the Enforcement Directorate, permanently attaching 64 crore worth properties of the Gandhi Parivar? National Herald case.
See, whenever the Enforcement Directorate takes such a step of attaching someone's property, it is subject to concurrence or approval by the appropriate court. So therefore, Rahul Gandhi in this case will get an opportunity to oppose this and also to question the fairness of this attachment order, number one. Number two, ED must conduct itself in the manner that it should not appear normally to the people that this is politically motivated or this is at the instance of some political bosses as a vindictive step, because that way the credibility of ED would be eroding. And I'm afraid that this is done purely on legal material that is available and the process of law is followed.
Beg to differ, sir, but is this the same old thing that we will continue hearing even before the next government has been sworn in, when you have the political vendetta charge that you seems to be suggesting that how you have the central agencies being misused? But thank you very much, Mr. Majid Memon, for your first reaction on this big story. When it comes to Republic TV, getting that news for you first up as how big a setback it is for the Gandhi Parivar, getting that kind of monetary income from those two properties in Gurugram and Panchkula now being permanently attached by the Enforcement Directorate.